Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Chef B. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Wagwan. Make sure to say subscribe down below. Now for today's video, we will be customizing this wig step by step from beautyforever.com. Now the wig that we'll be styling and customizing today is this curly bob wig. Now this is 100% human hair. This is how it's looking straight out of the package. Now you guys can see how uniform the curls already are. The ends aren't trashy, and what I'm doing is running my fingers through the hair just to do a shed test. Now this is how the frontal of the wig is looking. This is a 13x4 frontal. The knots are still a little bit too dark for me, and I think the wig could do with a little bit more plucking to get it to look super natural in the front. Now to customize the frontal, I'll be using Quick Blue and Volume 40 Developer to bleach the knots. Now you want to be super careful with bleaching your knots because you don't want to over bleach them. So what I like to do is start with 2 scoops of the Quick Blue and just a little bit of developer. So I start very small amount of developer just to make sure that I don't overdo it, then I'll have to put more powder. So what you want to do is put little by little, mix it around until you get a paste. So at first it's gonna look a little powdery, a little bit thick and clumpy, but what you want to do is to just stir that mixture around until you get a paste. Now if it is that you get the paste but it still is a little bit flaky in terms of too powdery, go in some more with the volume developer, but still do it lightly because you don't want to overdo it. So you don't want your paste to be too wet, also you don't want it to be dry, so you want to get that perfect paste. Now I'm just showing you guys how it's looking. I just keep stirring and this is how it looks. I don't want it to be runny because you don't want it to seep through the lace to get on the actual hair and then it looks crazy. Now I like to do this inside out. I turn the wig inside out and then I pin it to my canvas head, but I put a plastic bag under it because I don't want my canvas head to be ruined more than it already is. And then I just work the paste on, or the solution on. Now what you want to do is dab it on. You see me rubbing in certain areas, that's because I know the paste is thick enough where it won't seep through, but I'll suggest to dab it on and do like a light wipe on, but you don't want to rub it on because you don't want it to move crazy. Now once I do this to get it on majority of the lace as much as I can, I leave it on for about 15 to 20 minutes or until I feel like the knots are bleached enough. This is how my wig is looking afterwards. So I use purple shampoo to rinse my lace just to make sure that it doesn't have that brassy orangey look, so it looks like natural scalp, and it's looking pretty good. Like I'm actually feeling this lace. Now the next step we want to do is the plucking. Now the lace looks pretty good without it being plucked. Like this lace actually looked like it was somewhat pre-plucked. However, I need it to be a little bit more natural in the front. So I'm just going to show you guys the direction in which I pluck my lace. And you want to be very careful. You don't want to just pluck one section or just pluck that one part too long because you might end up with a bald spot. So you want to move your hands up and down along the lace while plucking. So I'm just going to leave you guys to see my technique of how I pluck the frontal. Now this is what my wig is looking like after I have plucked the frontal. Now it's not overdone. I did go back a little bit on the side, but that was basically it. So you don't want it to look too crazy. You just want it to look as much as your hairline as it can be. So this is my results that I got without overdoing it. Now the next step that I like to do, some people use the lace tint, but I think my lace tint just looks a little bit too dark on me now, because obviously with different weathers my complexion changes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this powder, foundation powder, to get the lace to look close to what my face will look like, or my complexion naturally looks like, or when I have makeup on, like if that even makes sense. So use your foundation powder so that the scalp of the lace will look flawless with your skin and flawless with your makeup, because I realized that with the tinting lace spray that I have, it looks way darker than my natural scalp, because scalp tends to look a little bit lighter than your actual face, and also it looked darker than when I have like a full face of makeup on. So I prefer the powder on the lace. It looks really natural to me, and yeah, that's what I'm working with. Now I do change my technique with tacking down my wigs or installing my wigs from time to time. I usually use the Got To Be freezing spray, but for this install I went with the Got To Be glued, and that's the yellow tube. And then I pull down the lace. I don't cut the excess lace as yet because I want to see how it looks, or I want to make sure that it is properly aligned with how I want it to be. And then I blow dry that. It's super sticky, and then I lift the lace a little bit just to use a eyebrow razor to remove the excess lace. And once I do that, I just take a scissors and just clean it up a bit. So I'm just going to leave you guys to see that technique. Now what you want to do, if you need some more melting power, you can go ahead and use the Got To Be freezing spray on top of the lace that you cut, and then tie down with a molding wrap. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tie down my lace for a bit after I spray some more, or rather spray some Got To Be freezing spray on there, just to make sure that it stays down. And then what you want to do, if you want to, you can create baby hairs. You don't have to. This is optional. Some people like that flowy or natural laid back look. Some people like the swoop to the doop action of the baby hair. It just depends on what you prefer. So I'm gonna go in with mousse and slick back the hair, and then I'm gonna also go in with some spritz. And let me tell you something about spritz. It's a great addition to molding down my wig, because when you use spritz on hair, that thing isn't moving, it stays in place. So I use the spritz on the parting and also to make sure the hair lays back. Then I go in with the rat tail comb and just comb it through and tie it down. Okay guys, now we have come to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this tutorial was very helpful. This hair is in 14 inches and 180% density. Now the direct link to the hair will be in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching. Once more, don't forget to subscribe and also follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter at damn_that's_chev. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Go on, big up on yourself. Bye guys.